What's up, guys? Sir All About Music here, bringing you a random album review because it's been a long time since I get caught up in these discographies and I forget to do other reviews and all that stuff. But this is one that I've wanted to do for a while because you all know I love noise, and noise in any form, noise rock, noise punk. And a couple of months ago, I think about maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 months ago, came across this song on YouTube totally by accident called Nothing Can Bring Me Down, and it was by this band, Acid Eater. And I loved it. It was just fuzzed out, psychotic, and had a really cheesy roller rink organ in the back. And I loved it. So I did a little digging around, found the whole album, Acid Eater's Virulent Fuzz Punk, online. It was it was pretty hard to find. I actually had to ask the guy who uploaded the song where to get it, and he linked me to it. And but now I have it, and I've given a listen to it multiple times, and I gotta say, I fucking love this album. It's fantastic. Almost every single song starts off with, feedback of one sort or another, and then they launch into these very driving, punk-influenced, noise-influenced explosions of sound. And, sometimes it's hard to understand what's going on with the guitars just because they're so fuzzed out, but really, what helps a lot is this cheesy, roller rink kind of 70s organ that's going on through all of these songs. Really helps you understand the melody, and it gives the band its own little twist to what would be just a straightforward Japanoise punk record. And the roller rink keyboard, totally fantastic. And the vocalist, even the vocals have some sort of distortion on them, and he always sounds like he's screaming from inside of a fucking box, like he's locked up in a box and he's screaming out. And really the whole focus of the sound is on these really fuzzed out guitars, and then all the solos are taken by this roller rink, this keyboard thing. So there's a focus on that, and there's a focus on the vocals. The drums are kind of overwhelmed on this album, and I don't know if they were purposefully pushed back or if there's just so much fuzz going on that they really don't stand a chance in the mix. Because I can tell you right now, when you listen to this album, the drums are going to be the last thing on your mind. You are going to be barraged, just constantly pounded with these really harsh sounds that aren't particular. They aren't harsh noise, but the fuzz is very harsh. There's a lot of fuzz on there, and there is some sort of riff going on. There's some sense of direction, some sense of chord changes, and there's a riff, and there's melodies, and all that stuff. But still, the sound of the guitars and the fuzz and the distortion on the vocals, very harsh. Very, very harsh. Really, my only problem with this album is that all 12 songs follow the same formula. It's the same thing. They use different distortions, all this stuff, but towards the end, it starts to get a little monotonous. It starts to get a little boring. I'm not gonna lie. There's only so much that you can do with that sound. Without bringing in, more emphasis on the drums, or maybe trying some clean vocals. They don't really switch up their formula a lot throughout the album. It's all very, listen to these fuzzy guitars and listen to this cheesy organ. That's about it. That's the gist of the album. And really, when you've heard about 2 or 3 songs, you've heard the whole album. Even though I do love listening to it, I will admit that even for people who are into Japanoise, that kind of punk side of that, this might get a little monotonous for you. It might get a little boring. There isn't a lot going on as far as stylistic changes go. But it's great, and it kind of remind with that stupid organ. I just can't get over the organ. With that stupid organ, a lot of these songs really remind me of maybe a really bad B movie a sci-fi B movie, like a really, really bad sci-fi movie. So it's just got that kind of Dracula cheesy organ sound going on. So, but 4 points. We got originality. I think is pretty good. I know a couple of other noise punk bands that kind of follow this style. And in my last Blog TV, the Needle Drop introduced me to a band called the Mummies that sound fairly a little like Acid Eater, though a little more garage rock, I would think. But it's not the most original thing on earth, but it's definitely not they're not copying anyone. I really, really do like this record. I'm very glad that I found it, and I listened to it. I've been listening to it quite a bit. The flow, because these songs follow the same formula and it gets monotonous, towards the end the flow just turns into, instead of a flow, it's just a line. Goes on forever. So the flow suffers a little bit because there isn't really a lot of change-ups going on here. And then the production, what to say about it, you can't really tell if this is clean or if it's definitely not all that lo-fi, because if it was really lo-fi, then this would sound very fuzzy. But you can't really tell where it stands between the moderate lo-fi and the, super clean production, just because everything is so fuzzed out. But I like it that way. I like the way it's been mixed. I wish the drums would have been, I don't know, like I said at the beginning, the drums are kind of overwhelmed, but if they could have been, I wish they would have been brought out a little more. And that's really my only stickler point. So, Acid Eater's Virulent Fuzz Punk gets a 7 from me. A 7. If you guys are interested in downloading the album, message me, and I will provide you with a location for it. And that's about it. It's all about music.